Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
This is the Ramsey Show, America. It's where we help you win with your money, win in your profession, and win with your relationships. Alongside the fabulous Jade Warshaw, I'm Ken Coleman. Phone number to jump in, 888-825-5225. 888-825-5225. You ready to roll?
Let's rumble.
Let's go. Eli is joining us in Dallas, Texas. Eli, how can we help?
How are you doing, guys? Thank you for taking my call. Man, I'm not even quite sure where to begin, but I seem to have a ginormous problem handling my finances. I am 27 years old with a wife and 2 kids, and I have one on the way in July. And I'm just kind of like up to my throat in stress on trying to figure out what I got to do to stay the course in trying to be debt-free. I've been a part of the show for about 6 months now. I even bought Dave Ramsey's The Total Money Makeover, and everything was going well. I had baby steps 1, working into 2. I had everything listed from smallest to largest, paying the smallest stuff off. And then right around the holidays, I kind of just fell off a cliff, started buying things I didn't need. And just recently, I got into a $2,100 purchase of headphones.
What?
And
what do you mean you got into it?
It did not take very much convincing, to be truthfully honest.
Okay.
I love music and stuff like that, so it didn't take much convincing for me to buy them. Okay. I was leading emotionally rather than thinking rationally, and that's when I kind of realized I've got a problem, and I cannot, I can't get out of it.
Okay.
So let me ask a quick question, Eli, on this, because I love how vulnerable you're being, and I think you've nailed it. I think you've diagnosed what's going on, that you can't do this on your own. And so we're going to walk with you on this call. But before we dive in deeper, I'm just curious if you'd be willing to share from your gut, what do you think is the emotion that's driving all these impulse purchases for you? What do you think it is? How would you describe it?
I believe desire was probably the best thing I can come up with. Just the sheer desire of wanting to get, anything that I've always wanted, stuff that I didn't get when I was growing up.
Stop. There it is. So now we're going to go deeper for a second. Okay. You said desire, but it's actually something else. What do you think it is based on the fact that you didn't have it when you were a kid and now you want it? What is the deeper emotion? It's deeper than desire. What's driving the desire to get stuff? What do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah, you do. You just took us there. Go back to your childhood. What was your childhood like?
Childhood came from a family of divorced parents. Thrusted very quickly into a different setting with my stepfather, and just money was always tight growing up. Just not having enough money.
Didn't have much, did you?
No. Very strict upbringing, and nothing wrong with that, of course. It wasn't until I went to Austin for culinary arts for college that I realized that I was free and I can make any and all decisions, and I've kind of been carrying that philosophy for the better part of the last 10 years.
But can I tell you something, Eli? You're free philosophically, you're not free emotionally. You're still that little boy who was afraid he was never going to get anything nice like all of his other friends. And so now you're an adult and you're afraid if you don't buy these things that you are that little boy who didn't have anything. And I'm telling you, there's something there. Now, I don't want to make the whole call about this, Jade, but I just felt like when somebody presents as, I can't do anything about this, I think that's right. By the way, if you have ever had a friend who's an alcoholic, or if you go through the 12 steps, or you're familiar with the 12 steps, the key to transformation is to get to a point where you say, I can't do this on my own. I need help. And he presented that way, and I think that's great. But I also wanted him to see when there's an impulse, the impulse is just the reaction, and you've got to dig deep and go, what is the underlying issue that is making it so easy for him to be talked into $2,100 headphones when he's broke?
Absolutely.
And that's real.
Right.
And Eli, I'm not saying that to put shame on you. I'm actually hoping to help you see something because I think you can recover from this, but not until you deal with the emotion that is driving the impulse.
I agree with Ken. I agree with Ken 100%. Matter of fact, if I were you, I'd probably jump into some counseling and get to the bottom of that, just because Ken is so right. What we've experienced in our past 100% informs how we view money, how we spend our money, what we think we're entitled to with our money, what makes us feel uncomfortable with our money. All of that is driven by what our relationships have been with money, whether it's from childhood, with our ex-wife, our ex-spouse, whatever it was, right? That all plays into it. The cute answer that I would give you for this moment, because I wish I were more of a therapist in that area, but I'm not. But the cute answer is you've got to get to the point where you're not sacrificing what you want most for what you want right now. Because what you want right now is the headphones. What I want right now is new Jordans. What I want, right? There's this thing that we were like, I want this now. But what you want most is what you started out on this journey, which is to find financial peace for your family, right? And so it's in those moments that you've got to kind of tie back to, okay, why did I start this journey? What is it that I'm truly trying to accomplish? And if I can just keep on the straight and narrow, there will come a time where you can buy the headphones, or you can buy some of the things that you want to do. So that's the cute answer. The truth is you're really struggling to do that right now in this moment.
Yeah, but I thought you set him up beautifully. Eli, Jade just nailed this. I mean, you have to replace the $2,100 headphones with what do you want your life to look like 20 years from now? She's spot on. What do you want for your kids? And so all of a sudden you start to go, ooh, I want that, and I really want that. It's the trade-off. So how much debt do you have?
Me personally, I have about $24,000 in total debt, about $2,500 in credit cards, $7,000 is in purchase finances, $4,000 to $5,000 in student loan, and then the rest is personal loans.
So where did the $2,100 headphones go? Did they go on a credit card?
They went through a firm.
A firm?
Oh, yes, that's like buy now,
it's
pay later.
It's one of those buy now, pay later, yes, correct, like Klarna and stuff like that.
Can you sell those?
Probably more than likely so.
That ain't my world.
I mean, you can sell anything. You can sell anything.
I should have said, can you sell those and get a good chunk or do they devalue quickly?
You could probably, if they're in good shape, I'm sure you could sell them. You can sell them on Marketplace or put them somewhere.
I'd start there.
Yeah. I'd get rid of
selling all the stuff you've bought that you can still sell.
Okay. I got you. I'd go back. I do believe I have a 30-day warranty of some sort where I can exchange them or return them for a refund. But I'd have to double check on that just to make sure that is accurate.
And let me hit you with something else, Eli. I've heard Dr. John Deloney say this, and it's so true. Your stuff talks to you. Your stuff, it does. It talks to you. And I bet you when you walk by it, because you've said what it is that you truly want, let your stuff talk to you and it talk you out of doing this again. Because I bet when you walk by those headphones, they're like, you said you were going to make things right with your family, right? When you walk by those purchases, they're telling you everything that you said you were going to do. So by you getting rid of them, selling them off, and let it be a reminder of what you said you wanted to do, and start surrounding yourself with things that are telling you the right thing.
Good stuff. Thanks for the call, Eli. This is The Ramsey Show.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. You've probably heard people talk about different kinds of flags in friendships and romantic relationships. You got red flags, you got green flags, you got beige flags. Listen, yes, it can be helpful to look for patterns or unsafe behaviors in potential relationships. But all these flag labels can distract from what's really important. Your values, and whether you and your potential partner are willing to wake up every day and choose to honor each other's values. And I know it can be tough sometimes to even know what's important to you in a relationship, to even know what your values are. Therapy can help you figure out your values and then decide your boundaries and your non-negotiables. So if you're thinking about starting therapy, try BetterHelp. BetterHelp is 100% online therapy that works with your schedule. To get started, you just get online to fill out a survey and you get matched with a licensed therapist. And if it's not the right fit, you can switch therapists at any time for no extra cost. So whether you're dating, married, building a friendship, or working on yourself, do it with help from BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Ramsey Radio to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Ramsey Radio.
The Ramsey Show continues. I'm Ken Coleman. Jade Warshaw is with me. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. 888-825-5225. Syracuse, New York is where we go next. Kelly is there. Kelly, how can we help?
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Sure, what's going on?
My question today is I'm trying to figure out what to do with my credit card debt. I have no other debt other than credit card debt. I fell on hard times with work last year, and I've been having a tough time actually landing a job since then. Still working at it, but it's getting harder in the field that I'm in. And I have some business credit cards and some personal credit cards. My business credit cards have been charged off as of last month. My personal credit cards have been current. I've been able to maintain those with the little bit of savings that I've had left, with the hopes that I was going to get a job soon, but it hasn't happened yet. So I'm wondering what to do with my personal credit as it's getting harder to pay those balances and the minimum payment.
How much is it? How much is the personal credit card debt?
The personal credit card debt is $36,000.
Okay.
And the business credit cards are $23,000.
What kind of business was it?
It's a IT consulting business.
Okay. And are you still doing that, or you've moved on?
I'm still doing it because that's what I've just been doing for many years, and just really trying to find something where I can make the money that I was making before I got laid off.
So how long were you laid off? Because, I mean, this is almost $60,000 of credit card debt. That's nothing to sneeze at. Like, when you say fell on hard times, I want to understand more about that and how long that period lasted so that I can understand more about your habits and your mindset around money and debt.
And also tell us how much you were making.
Okay. Well, my credit card debt racked up really over just maintaining regular monthly bills, which aren't really high. They are roughly about $1,000 per month. And
but how? Answer Jade's question.
How long? Because that means if it was only $1,000, that means we spent 36 months.
Yeah, it's
not
been
doing
almost a year. Almost a year.
Okay. So what? Okay. So
how
what
much
this
were
is?
real quick? How much were you making beforehand?
Beforehand, I was making about $10,000 a month. But
you make about 120. Go ahead.
Go on. I was going to say it's not 120,000 because I'm the consultant, so it's not consistent throughout the year.
Okay, how many months of the year do you make? I mean, if you say to me, hey, I make $120,000 a year, yeah, it can fluctuate, but you still made $120,000 in the year.
Well, it can go from anywhere from, you can be unemployed with what I do anywhere from 3 to 6 months. If you get a year, then that's nice. But
right.
Anywhere from 3 to 6 months.
Right. I hear what you're saying, but it's still $120,000. So what that tells me is on the windfall months, the months that you just had made bank, instead of saying, okay, I've got to be smart and put this aside and this is what I'm living off of for the next couple months, that tells me that that money went somewhere. Where did it go? Because you also told me that it only takes $1,000 to make your household run, which I do have questions about that. But do you see, I'm not trying to take you to task, but there's holes in the story and I need to understand it so that I can help you best. Because what's coming off, the way it's coming off is that you're not working much. That's what the way it's coming off. And I want to find out why that is, because even if it's not in IT, there's plenty of opportunities, and Ken can get into that we could do throughout the year. And so I really want to highlight that behavior for you so that you never do that again. Does that make sense? It's not for me to make you feel bad. I just want you to know, hey, there's a moment, it's like you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. Like there's a moment that you get to a threshold that you go, I can't keep doing this. I got to go work. I got to get out here and make any kind of money, right? And something happened that you didn't make that transition. Fair enough?
Well, I did try. And that was another part of it, is that it may sound like I'm not trying. I tried to go to restaurants to see if someone would hire me for waitressing, hosting, different things. And
why didn't they? What do you think the reason was?
I mean, I don't want to really, I don't know what the reason is, honestly. I don't know. I know why I can't get a job in my field, but the reason that I can't get a regular job doing something outside of what I do, I don't know. I mean, I would think anyone can get hired at a restaurant, but apparently not.
I mean, but was it just the restaurant, or did you go to Walgreens and Target and everywhere? Did you do DoorDash? Did you do Uber? Did you do Instacart? And they all said no.
I didn't do anything that was not going to be able to pay my bills. Not really.
Right,
no.
Hold, because here's my point. Nothing was paying your bills, so isn't something better than nothing? That's the point I'm trying to get to.
I did have unemployment. That's how I was able to pay my rent. My rent was $2,500 a month. So I was paying.
No,
I was able to
that's
pay
not true, because you had unemployment, but it didn't cover the cost. You still had costs because you went into credit card debt. So that's why I'm saying, wouldn't it help to have done some of these other things as well, so that you would not have at least had to go into credit card debt? So I'm just trying to play this back, because if you can't look back on this and see, here's where I went, here's where it all went bad. If you can't see that, it will be impossible to fix this.
That's right. So Kelly, I'm not piling on, but I'm going to jump in here. How many times did you apply for a waitressing position?
Can you repeat that? How many times I applied for
a waitressing position at a restaurant? I know you didn't get the one. How many different restaurants did you apply to?
I went to like 5 different restaurants. I went to a bar. I went to lounges to try to apply for work.
Right. So here's the deal.
Maybe there's a...
So here's what's going on. I was like, what was that?
Apparently my I don't know. I opened my computer to type something in.
Here's the deal. There could be a myriad of reasons as to why they hired someone else for those roles. But I think what happened is that you were like, well, this is just a bunch of no's, and I can't get hired, so I'm going to go try to do my own thing on my own. And you realize how hard that is, and it's put you in a deep hole. I think what we're trying to tell you is that you can't take no for an answer. In other words, it's the restaurant, multiple restaurants, a bar. They said no. Fine. You pivot. You go to big box stores where they are hiring. You keep going. You don't accept, well, I didn't get it here, so I'm not going to get it anywhere else. There are jobs that you can get that do way better than unemployment. But you have to keep showing up, and you can't just go in and apply. You got to talk to everybody that you know on social media, in person. You find a job doing whatever it takes to get you on a bridge so that you didn't have to rely on these credit cards. Now you've got to go get work just to dig out of this. And I mean like 2 or 3 jobs to dig out of this. Because Jade, as you said, this $60,000 is no joke. It's a lot of credit card debt.
And let's talk about that a minute, because there's another part of this, Kelly, that when you've been making $10,000 a month, right? Are you single? You're single, right? Okay. As a single woman, you've been that's significant. Like that's a lot of money. So to go from that, it almost feels like, well, if I'm not making, it's like an all or nothing thing, right? Yeah. You feel like if I'm not making that, then what's the point? And I think what Ken and I are getting at is I get emotionally, that's a very real feeling, but we've got to go beyond that and say anything. That's anything right. At
Until
this
the
point.
Technology market opens up a little bit, and then what are some adjacent jobs that you're qualified for? Maybe it's different than what you've been doing. My point is, you have to treat this like it's life or death, because it is life or death for you financially right now. That's where you called us. You are in bad shape, but it's very fixable if you can begin to get some money coming in the door You change your budget. I mean, every dollar, I don't know what you want to give her here. She
Yeah.
needs some help. She needs some resources.
Yeah,
What do you wanna do?
before you leave, we'll make sure you're set up with Every Dollar, the premium version, because it's going to help you build that habit of budgeting, checking in with your money every single day, and tracking your transactions. So we'll make sure you have that. I'm also going to give you the Total Money Makeover, because I think being able to read that and read other people's stories, you'll be able to see yourself in those stories, and you'll be able to pinpoint, like I said, what went wrong here. You'll be able to accept that so you don't end up in this situation again, which is so important.
Yeah. Get after it, Kelly. Everything you got. You don't take no for an answer. A no is just not here. And just keep on moving forward. All right, quick break. We'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show.
What does the future hold for business? Ask 9 experts and you'll get 10 different answers. Economic growth or a recession? Business taxes will go up or down. AI will help us work, or it will replace us all. But there's no such thing as a crystal ball. That's why more than 40,000 businesses have future-proofed themselves with NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud enterprise resource planning system. Ramsey Solutions uses NetSuite, and you should too. Whether your company's earning millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you respond to immediate challenges and seize your biggest opportunities. With one unified business management suite, there's only one source of truth for the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions. NetSuite's real-time insights and forecasting help you see into the future with actionable data. And when you're closing the books in days, not weeks, you can spend less time looking backward and more time focusing on what's next. And speaking of what's next, download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/Ramsey. It's free at netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show alongside Jade Warshaw. I'm Ken Coleman. Glad you're with us. 888-825-5225. Hey, the best way to make the most of your money is by creating and then sticking to a monthly budget. That's why we created Every Dollar. We believe it is the best budgeting tool on the planet. Help you plan spending, track expenses, save for what matters most to you, and it's easy. You can download Every Dollar for free in the App Store or Google Play, or click the link in our show notes if you're listening on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. Now, our last call, Jade and I were talking during the break. I want to revisit this quickly because Jade got fired up. And you know, listen, bottom line is, and love Kelly, want to help Kelly, but it is a difficult thing to lose one's job.
Yes.
Or to see an interruption. It just is. Psychologically, we got to call that out. It's difficult, and so it can really throw us off. But there has got to be an awareness of that so that you develop a mindset that if you're in debt or you have been living paycheck to paycheck, or both, which is usually the case, you can't allow that to keep you from continuing to bring in income.
Yes.
And it's almost like we had a whiteboard. If we had a whiteboard in the studio, I would have wheeled it in here.
Oh, man.
I would have given you a fresh marker.
I would have gone Steve Kornacki on you in 2 seconds.
Come on. So I'm looking at your notes here. You jotted down 5 things that you think people need to do.
Yeah.
Or why they need to get back to do any work. Set this up for us.
I would call it 5 reasons to take any job before you get the job.
I love that.
5 reasons, right? And,
Here we go.
let me caveat this real quick,
Do it.
because
Set
this
it
is
up.
not just Jade sitting here yapping, right? So during COVID 2020, the pandemic, everything shut down. And for Sam and I, my husband, that was big for us because before I came to work here, I was in entertainment. Our whole business is in entertainment and cruise lines.
That's right.
And all that was shut down.
Your whole world shut
a whole
down.
world. And you want to talk about going from a great income to zero? Okay, so this is coming from my personal experience. I had to take a job that I hated temporarily. It was a call center job, so I get it. Okay, I'm talking out of personal experience. 5 reasons to take any job before you take the job. Number 1, Ken, some money is better than any money.
I would agree with this.
Right?
That's a great point.
It's better to, if you are the person who's like, well, I got to depend on credit cards. Well, if you bring in some money, I guess you won't have to use your credit cards as much, right? So some money is better than any money. Number 2, Ken, your spouse needs to see who you are.
Come on.
Who are you going to be in a hard time? When the rubber meets the road, are you going to take any job? And are you going to be the person who steps up? My husband stepped up. I stepped up, and we needed to see that from each other because it was a hard time.
Really good point.
All right? Your spouse...
Because you know what happens? You don't feel very psychologically safe when you lose a job.
Listen,
so you need some emotional safety is what you're talking about here. I like that.
And if you see your spouse sitting around while you're trying to make things happen vice versa, that's not going to be good for the marriage.
Yeah.
So your spouse and you need to see who you are, all right? Number 3 is, you'll learn what you like and what you don't like. Because I can tell you right now, I don't like a call center job.
What? By the way, what was it? What was it? I mean,
I don't know if I can say it on here.
No, you don't have to say the brand, but what kind of calls were you taking?
I was taking people who needed help with their taxes.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So,
really?
Tax advice, yeah.
And did you have like a little cheat sheet of the basics you could help with, and then you handed them off to somebody else?
No, it was the tax software. So if they had trouble with the tax software, but you have to understand the taxes to be able to do that. So I learned a lot.
Wow.
So I learned. That's what I'm saying. You'll learn what you like, what you don't like.
Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how soul sucking was it?
I chose for it not to be soul sucking because, like I said, it was 2020. There was enough that was sucking out our souls.
All right, let me so my point is, but that's you because you're mentally tough. I'm saying, how rough was it?
It was hard because to go from making, over 200 and some odd $1,000
you're singing a
year.
Whitney Houston covers in a fabulous, probably a nice suite with your hubs, traveling all around the world, and now all of a sudden you're on that's not fun. That's the point I wanted to make.
Yeah, I'm saying hello.
You sucked it up big time.
Sucked it up. You gotta suck it up. You gotta do what you gotta do for your family, okay?
Come on.
So that was number 3. You'll learn what you like, what you don't like. Number 4, you'll just be a productive person, okay? Because sometimes, Ken, you just gotta get out of bed. You gotta take off your sweatpants, hit the pavement, knock on some doors, make some phone calls. Like, you gotta be productive.
Make something happen.
Make something happen.
I love it.
Otherwise, you're just gonna be getting depressed.
I love it.
About the fact that you don't have a job. All right, which leads me to number 5. It'll build your confidence.
There it is.
Going to a job, I don't care if you're a greeter at Walmart, getting up and taking pride in what you're doing and being the best at whatever it is that you do. Colossians 3:23, whatever it is that you're doing, work at it as though you're working, for the Lord, not as unto man. What? Right? I didn't quote it right, but you know what I'm saying.
That works.
When you do that.
That was a message version. I liked it.
Yeah, it was a message
good.
version.
It was really good.
But that's my point. Like, who wants to show up when you finally do get the interview? It's been 5 months and you've not been to a job. You're going to bomb that interview because you haven't been building that confidence at any job.
You need to get that typed up, printed out, and dare I say, I just
laminated.
lost it. Thank you. You know where I was going. That needs to be a little, you just pull that chart out. Jade's 5 to be alive or something. That's really good, actually. Really good. All right, let's get back to the phones. But by the way, if you're, real quick, I hope you listen to what she said because that is a fabulous pep talk for somebody who's in between jobs right now. I'm telling you, that right there is a mindset plan that she just gave you. And you got to keep your mind right.
I know that's right, Ken
because
Coleman.
You're not going to get out of debt if your mind is destroyed. And it is very, very hard when you've lost steady work. We acknowledge that. All right, to Kristen we go in Lexington, Kentucky. Kristen, how can we help today?
Hi, how are you all?
We're doing great. What's going on?
Jade needs to make that a magnet for sure. She's bringing out her inner Dave.
Thank
Kristen,
you.
I love what we're doing here. I need a refrigerator magnet, Jade. I'll be the first person to buy it.
Maybe that's my new business.
You know why? So people can see that as soon as they open up the fridge, because we know they go to the fridge like 5,000 times a day.
Amen and amen.
By the way, I grew up in a magnet household. My mom had them, and my grandmother had them next door. And so you just took me back, Kristen, to some serious nostalgia. How can we help you today?
Well, I am, thank you all for taking my call. I'm 39. My husband is 42. Our household income is $100,000 to $110,000 a year. We've been married for almost 13 years. We Our net worth is around 1.1.
Hey.
But that does include our house. So my husband said that that's really not included. He doesn't.
Yes,
he doesn't
it
include
is.
our house. I'm
Well,
like,
we would beg
I'm
to
like, no,
differ.
Dave
We would
says
beg to
we're gonna
differ.
cry.
What kind of what if we included the house? What would it be?
No, that is with the house.
Oh,
he
good.
says that we're not over that because
He wants to
just
see
doesn't- he
cash
doesn't
money
like-
in the bank.
I
That's what he
appreciate
wants.
that,
Yeah.
but if you sold that house today, you're there. So
exactly.
we will
So that's what
include
I
it.
tried
We
to
just
tell
won't
him.
tell him. Okay, just between
Yes,
us.
okay.
Okay.
We do have a $5,000 emergency fund. I have all of our life insurance through Zander, like you all taught me. We are avid Dave fans. We've been trying to live by your all's rule ever since we got married.
Wow.
And he's lived by that rule ever since he was like 14. He just said I didn't listen until I started listening to Dave. So,
Love it.
but I have a couple questions.
Okay, we
So
got about a
have-
minute and a half, so you got to get to them real fast.
Okay, I max out our Roth IRA, our 401k, and we contribute about $1,000 to $2,000 to a mutual fund, and then the $7,000 max for each of us for our Roth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel. Where do we go from here? I feel like because we're maxing everything out.
Yeah.
What do we do from here? I'm honestly, I'm getting ready to turn 40. I'm a little lost, to be honest with you. And I'm thankful that we don't have any bills, but also too, our mutual funds are only going like 6 to 8%.
Okay,
All right, I gotta
well, that's
let Jade
good. That's
jump in
good.
here. Go ahead,
Hey,
Jade.
you're doing a great job maxing those out. Your fund should be doing much better than that, especially the past couple of years. You should be in the 20s, honey. So I would suggest you get with one of our SmartVestor pros. They're going to get you on the right track and teach you more about the right funds to make you a little bit more money. But yeah, you're doing the right thing. You could go to a taxable brokerage account, but it sounds like maybe you might want to try something like investing. Maybe it's now time to save up and invest in a piece of real estate. That might be interesting for you. It sounds like you're getting a little bored with just setting it aside into mutual funds and that sort of thing. So real estate could be the next play for you guys.
Not bad at all. Again, go to the SmartVestor Pro section on the website, RamseySolutions.com, make a couple meetings, and decide from there. This is The Ramsey Show.
Statistics show that half of Americans don't have enough life insurance, or they don't have any at all. I don't understand this, John. Why don't people want to take care of their family? They think they're going to die or something?
Well, I used to be one of those guys, I didn't even think about it. And one of my buddies said, hey, the only reason to not have life insurance is if you hate your wife and kids. And I immediately went and got term life insurance.
That's a gut punch.
And, you're telling me, and for decades, Dave, I've sat across people who've lost a spouse. They've lost somebody important to them.
Me
and
too.
They don't know what to do next.
Me
right?
too. I mean, you're going to have a crisis here. And, you got two options while you're sitting and talking to a young widow. She's concerned about how she's going to invest all this money properly and not mess this up, or she's concerned how she's going to eat tomorrow.
That's exactly
These are the
right.
two options.
And
take care of your dadgum family, man.
Term life insurance can replace income, pay off debts, cover funeral expenses, so your family can actually have the opportunity to just be sad.
Yeah.
To just miss you.
That's exactly what it's supposed to be. It's saying I love you to your family. Term life insurance. Jeff Zander and the team at Zander Insurance makes it easy and affordable. I've used them personally for 25 years. They're the only people I trust. Go to Zander.com or call 800-356-4282.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. Jade Warshaw is alongside. Phone number is 888-825-5225. Jade's going to coach you up on how to handle your money. I'm going to coach you up on how to make more money. So let's go. We're going to start off this segment with a question from our Ramsey Network app. This question is from Brody. He writes, I'm 27 years old and I bought a house about 5 years ago. I've put a lot of labor into fixing the house and it is worth a lot more than I had originally purchased it for. I just met with my financial advisor, and he suggested the idea of taking out a $150,000 HELOC on that equity and investing it into a mutual fund to earn more money from my house. Is that the right move or the wrong move for me? And I'm betting, Jade, that the financial advisor is selling him that product.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, he's selling you.
Financial advisor's got himself a commission in his head.
Yeah. The answer is no, I would never do that, because essentially what you're doing, you're leveraging your home, which is supposed to be a place of peace and security, for an investment. And it's like, why would you do that? And an investment, by the way, there's no guarantee. He didn't say what type of investment it would be, like him investing in the market, which is also something that I'm like, oh, he did say mutual fund.
No, he said mutual fund. So essentially, it's like the financial advisor's going, hey, let's put a big lump sum in your mutual fund.
He can get a commission.
Big commission. And then he can say, well, you're fast forwarding this.
Yeah, no, I would never do that. I would just take my own income and invest it in mutual funds.
Yeah.
And that way I'm not creating any additional risk in my life. I'm holding on to the wealth that I have, which is the equity in your home, and I'm continuing to build wealth by investing 15% of my gross income every single month.
There you go. All right, to the phones we go. Jeremiah is joining us now in San Antonio, Texas. Jeremiah, how can we help?
Hi, I'm $33,000 in debt, and I've saved up about $3,000, and I just don't know where to go from here.
What is the debt?
It's from an auto loan.
What's the car? Tell us about it.
It's a 2022 Dodge Ram 1500.
Oh yeah.
With it's going to hit 70,000 miles right now.
And okay, $70K. And what is it worth a private sell right now? If you went on Kelley Blue Book, what would the value be?
I believe it was 26,000 or 25.
Okay, so
let's say 25 and be conservative.
Okay,
and you say you owe 33 on it?
Yes.
But you also said you have $3,000 worth of cash?
Yes.
Okay, Jade.
$33,000 worth of cash?
No. $3,000 he's got cash. He owes 33.
I wish.
Yeah, we do too. That you had it. So he's got a car that's worth 25. I'm being conservative here. He's got 3,000 in cash. No other cash anywhere else?
No, just I have retirement.
And no debt other than the truck?
Yes, no debt.
All right. Pretty clean here.
Yeah, I mean, if I were you, I'd try to get out of this by getting out of upside down. What's your income?
Monthly is $2,400.
Okay.
You living at home?
30,000. Yes. I live
Okay.
with my mom.
So how quickly could you save up another? Because you're $8,000 upside down. You've got 3, so we need 5 to make it right side up, right? But then you got to drive something, so we've got to come up with another 3,000 to get you a beater or something, right?
Yeah.
So that's the equation right here. How quickly can you get another $5,000 in 2 months? 3 months? 2 months if you take a second job? You live at home.
Yeah, I would say about at least like give or take 3 months would take.
What bills do you have? What other bills do you have?
Job. What other goals?
What other bills other than the car?
Bills? Just a $75 for my internet, I believe.
Okay, and then what's the car payment? Just so I can really see this.
Now the car payment is $639, and I pay $300 for the insurance.
Okay, so
I kind of would like to see him pay this thing off. It's not like, you know what I mean? There's a couple ways. I'd like to see him own this thing and pay it off. He's got no expenses in his life. Pay this sucker. I'm not against him selling it. You got this funky face right now.
I think he never should have got it.
I 100% agree.
Oh,
but
me too.
He knows.
I 100% agree. It was my grandparents, and they co-signed on it and everything.
I guess my point is I think he could put $2,000 a month on this if he got busy and started working hard.
How old are you?
He's 19. He's living with mom. What do you think? I always tell people to sell it, but in this case, I think he can pay this thing off. He's got no other debt in his life. Now he's got a 2022 Dodge Ram truck. Or you could go buy a beater. I mean, I think Jade's right. That's what I almost always say, sell the car.
What do you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do? Jeremiah?
Well, if there's any way possible, I would love to keep the truck.
Well, it is possible. You got to pay it off.
But
or
you
got
got to pay it off with, like, lickety split, like with the quickness, like you getting another job.
I would hope I would hope like 3 years or 2 years.
And see, this is why I'm saying sell it, because when I gave you the task of getting $5,000 quickly, you felt like that felt insurmountable. I could tell, like that felt like, oh man.
Yeah. See, and let me clarify my position. I'm not saying, Jeremiah, over 3 years pay it off. I'm saying,
yeah, I know.
I'm saying you pay it off in a year. But at this point, maybe it's better off if you don't think you can mentally do that. Then I would sell it, and I'd go get a $5,000 truck, because I can find one online right now. I can find a $5,000 truck.
I kind of like
SUV.
that plan for you. If you were a little bit older and you were accustomed to the type of work that Ken and I are talking about, I might say, yeah, keep it, pay it off. But I can tell that this is really a burden. Even the burden of getting the $5,000 to get right side up feels like a lot. Am I wrong or am I right?
No, you're right.
Okay.
Oh, well then 100% I agree.
Yeah.
Those are your two options.
Yeah.
Pay it down, pay it off quickly, or get rid of it, and I think you need to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get it out of your life. You're going to sleep better, and you're going to learn a valuable lesson.
Yeah. You can't really, it's hard to enjoy a purchase like that when it's kind of made you feel some type of way like that, you know?
And a $600 a month car payment.
I was enjoying it, but I like started to learn about like the financial things, and I was just like, oh gosh, I'm living way out of my means.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Listen, a Ram is nice.
really
I'm not going to lie. I've been looking at Rams. What color is it?
Black.
Okay, yay.
It's black on black. It's
Yay.
really nice.
Listen, slide it this way.
Yeah, and
You're in San Antonio.
and here's the deal. Let me tell you what's really going on, Jeremiah. You've never done a budget, have you?
No, well, I've just started actually, but
Okay. Have you used Every Dollar? Are you familiar with our budgeting app?
I am not.
Okay. Jade, tell the man why he needs to be using Every Dollar, because this will help him tremendously.
This is great. You're a young guy. This is a great habit to learn early. So Every Dollar, it's the best budget out there. It's the only budget I use. I know it's the only budget Ken uses, but it's great because it's on your phone, it's on your desktop, and it does all the math for you, Jeremiah. All you have to do is plug in your income at the top, and you get to decide from there how you're going to spend every single dollar of your money. So you go in and put everything that Jeremiah might spend money on, from your insurance to your car payment to, a little bit of groceries for the house, whatever it is that you're spending money on, you put that into Every Dollar, and then it's going to tell you, hey, here's how much extra you have to spend. So that's just the basics of what Every Dollar does. You connect it to your bank, and then all your transactions load in there, and it'll tell you, hey, here's how you're doing with your money. But there's also some really great future planning tools in there, so you can start to
help him save for that next truck that's maybe in the $14,000, $15,000 range. Jeremiah, that's the whole point, is get this out of your life, then start budgeting, and then you can begin to see, okay, I'm still a young guy. I can save up and have a really nice truck in the near future that doesn't have any negative emotion attached to it. Right?
Yes, sir.
That's the idea, my man. So Every Dollar, download it today. Start messing around with it. To learn this at 19.
Oh, you're going to
Jade, I don't think I'm speaking in hyperbole, but I think he's going to be way ahead.
Years.
Way past most 19-year-olds. Just learning to go, I know where my money is.
Yeah.
And not only do I know where it is, I'm controlling where it's going.
And being able to make the choice, hey, I bought that. It was too expensive. I don't need to keep it. Being able to say that in life,
I agree.
Priceless.
Yeah, it's huge. By the way, selling a car that you can't afford, it is the best way to get out of that deal and learn that lesson the hard way. It just kind of sticks with you forever. Always the best choice. Great hour, Jade Warshaw. This is The Ramsey Show.
Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Welcome to the Ramsey Show, America, where we help you win with your money, win in your profession, and win in your relationships. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. 888-825-5225. Love for you to call in. And if you need to get coached up on handling your money, Jade Warshaw is here. If you need to get coached up on making more money, I'm here. I go by Ken. That's what I go by. I've been called far worse, but I go by Ken Coleman with you, and always fun to be with Jade. And we've got the energy here. We both just got a little bit of caffeine.
Got the juice.
We got the juice. We're ready to go. Lily in Milwaukee is where we're going next. Lily, how can we help today?
Hi. So I need advice on what to do. We just realized that my mother-in-law has stolen from my husband and I for the second time. The first time was the first time was last year that we discovered it. My husband's debit card numbers kept getting stolen even after he changed it 6 times.
Ooh.
Come to find out, it was my mother-in-law. She stole every time he was home. She somehow went into his wallet and grabbed his debit card, wrote down the numbers. She used it to pay bills. I mean, it was.
How much?
She also used it for. We tracked $1,000 and then we stopped tracking it
because you didn't want to keep. You didn't want to keep getting mad.
How long did this go on before the second time that it's happened? How long did it go on for before you figured it out?
I would say 4 months before we realized it. I actually realized it when I was looking over my husband's. Then we were just dating or engaged, I can't remember, and he was just showing it to me, and I was just like, well, just let me read it.
How did
so
you
I looked at it, and I said, wait, babe, these are all utility bills, so someone's paying utilities. And he's like, oh, okay. So we looked, and my husband, like a couple days later, found a utility bill that was paid with the last 4 digits of his card in his mom's name.
The boldness.
So we confronted her. Well,
how'd that go?
He confronted her.
How'd that go?
Not well. She, unfortunately, is an alcoholic. And so it's rough, especially because just a little over a month ago, we were ready with $5,000 cash to bail her out of her 6th OWI because otherwise her son was going to be my brother-in-law, who's now 17, was going to be put in foster care, and we were going to be his foster parents up until he turned 18.
Oh, wow.
And so we were going to okay, we're going to bail you out. We even told her, this is a gift. We don't want you to return it. This is just rough. So she was ordered to not. We even were driving a total of 6 hours a day. When I say we, I mean me, because my husband was working, and I would drive an hour to pick her up, an hour to drop her off from her home to then work. And then an hour back, and then I would go back and I would go get her. And we finally stopped after we found out she was driving when she wasn't supposed to. And so we said, we're not going to be complicit in this. We're not going to turn you in, but we're not going to be a part. Part of our bargain to not asking for any money back was that you didn't break the law again.
So this is a giant mess.
Yep.
We could talk about this for.
Part.
Okay. And what's your question for us today?
We need help with the current situation of her stealing $13,000 from his UTMA account.
Okay.
Her stealing $13,000 from his UTMA. Is it, whose name is on it? Did she set up the UTMA a long time ago for him?
Yes, she set it up for him. He was in a really bad car accident. So because he was a minor, the money was then dispersed to her. And then at the same time, his parents were going through a divorce. So part of the custody agreement was instead of just giving the money and letting it sit in a bank account, put it in an UTMA trust. So she did that. And then in 2008, she took out a little over $6,000. And then in 2015, she took out another little over $6,000 of a total withdrawals of $13,186.43.
No, we get it. She's got access to this, though.
She did. Yep. So now my husband's 22 and has rights. And so when we talked with our accountant and we talked to the investor, she's not, according to UTMA, IRS stuff or whatever that we are being told, is that she can't pull out any money unless it's to benefit the minor.
Yeah, but she just did.
So you could sue her. I mean, You could. You could
I got
sue
a
her
question.
over it.
How, if that's true, then how is it that she just recently was able to get into the account and get $13,000 more dollars?
No. That was the total amount. It wasn't recently that she did it. She did it in 2008 once, and then 2015. We only found out now.
Okay, all right. So,
the
Lily,
statements are now being mailed to my husband.
Okay, so there's a lot coming at us. So you've done.
Sorry.
So no, it's okay. But to try to help you, what you just told us seems like the solution. What you just told us, she can't get access to this now, correct? Because of his age.
Right.
All right, then. So you don't
Yeah.
have anything to worry about.
Unless, like I said, unless you were trying to get the $13,000 back, if that's the case, you'd have to take legal action to prove that she took it, that she didn't spend it on him, right?
I just don't even know how to prove that. Like,
my point in saying that is it's probably not going to be worth it.
No, this is not worth it, Lily. She doesn't have any money.
Yeah.
And the last thing you guys need to do is spend your money on a wild goose chase, because that's what this is. This is already awful enough. So if that's your question for us, Jade and I are saying if we were in your shoes,
you can't sue her for anything.
We'd let it go. But I would make sure that your husband is on the phone with this account.
Yeah.
And we're absolutely certain that she cannot access the funds. The second thing is, I got to go back to the initial thing. He doesn't go anywhere near her
with his card,
with his debit card anymore.
Right. How did this happen
I don't know how he's laying his wallet around and she's just walking in there. So
no, what had happened was it was while he was still living there. So we didn't move in together until after we were married. And he lived with his mom. When we found out about it, he did end up getting an apartment for 6 months, and then we moved in together because we were married.
But Lily, this just needs to be a clear boundary here. This needs to be a clear boundary. We don't do anything with her anymore involving money, period. Done. She needs to get healthy, and she may have to hit rock bottom. It doesn't sound like she's there yet.
Yeah, has she ever gone through any treatment for her alcoholism?
She was court ordered to with the other 5 OWIs, but it never ended up helping or doing anything, unfortunately. She did the program enough to get the boys out of foster care when they were removed from her care. And then as soon as she got them back and the court order was finished, she went back to drinking.
Where's little brother now?
He is still living with mom.
Okay. All right. Well, this is tough. We feel really bad for you. I'm glad you have figured it out. I don't think there's any recourse. I think you guys need a clear boundary here.
And I think, you know what? I love therapy, so I would suggest you and your husband go talk to someone, because when people do you wrong like that, and your husband's probably bringing in his own baggage from that living situation, like, you guys get some clarity and get some mental healing over this, because clearly her actions have impacted you guys and it's made you feel some type of way, like understandably so, but make sure you're working through that too, so that when the time comes that she does become sober, which I pray it does, you can receive her with open arms.
Also, Lily, the best we can do is give you a present. Hang on the line. We're going to give you every dollar, because this happened because you guys largely didn't have any idea what was coming and going in your bank account.
Yeah,
now, I'm not trying to pour insult, on the injury here, but let's get control of our budget so that nothing like this ever happens again. Hang on the line. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jade Warshaw, and I'm just gonna cut to the chase. If anyone knows about paying off student loans, it's me. Okay, my husband and I had $460,000 of debt, and $280,000 of it was student loans. So I know the pressure that you feel when you have that debt weighing you down. But I also know there's a way out, because we did it, and you can too. Getting out of student loan debt starts with taking control of the situation, and Laurel Road can help. Laurel Road offers a free 30-minute consultation with a student loan expert to go over your repayment options and help make a plan based on your specific situation to get your student loans paid off fast. Okay, truth be told, refinancing is not the move for everyone. My advice is that you should only consider it if you can get a lower rate or a shorter term. But if refinancing is your next move, I think it should be with Laurel Road. They offer low competitive rates and terms that could help you pay less over the lifetime of your loan. Plus, they offer interest rate incentives like auto pay discount. So go to laurelroad.com/Ramsey to find out more and schedule your free 30-minute consultation. That's laurelroad.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show alongside Jade Warshaw. I'm Ken Coleman. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. Let's go to Washington, D.C. Samuel's there. Samuel, how can we help?
Hi, Jade and Ken.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I guess my question mostly surrounds finishing school and my career in the future.
Okay, tell us where you are in school and how far along you are and what you're pursuing.
Yeah, right now I'm about 16 credit hours away from getting my associates in business.
Okay.
But I'm not taking any classes this semester.
And what is the reason for that?
Yeah, I'm working quite a bit of hours. I work every day. And by the time by the time that I was looking to sign up for classes this semester, all the ones remaining for my program were booked up.
And what kind of work are you doing now?
Yeah, I'm a manager and coach at a gym.
And is that the field you want to go into?
It's tough. I'm kind of at the ceiling of this stuff. The only kind of way to go up would be owner or equity owner.
Right, but if young Samuel, how old are you again?
20, sir.
20. If young Samuel thinks about the future, 20 years from now, and we're going ideal here, all right? So I don't want you to be hung up on a lack of belief right now. I don't want you to feel insecure about your answer. I want you to go with what your heart's telling you. What does it look like right now? You can change this answer 2 minutes from now. Well, what's 20 years down the road, a successful Samuel, and I run into you and you go, hey, 20 years ago, I talked to you and Jade. And guess what I'm doing now? What would you tell me you're doing?
Yeah, I'd love to either have some sort of remote work in a field that I really enjoy, or I really like to get into real estate investing and kind of manage.
Okay, I feel like I got a safe answer, and I feel like I got the real answer.
He's not an office guy.
Don't tell me that 20 years from now you're going to be excited to run into Jade and I and go, hey, I'm doing remote work in a field I enjoy. Come on.
Well, what that
Samuel
told me is he doesn't want to go into an office. Whatever he does, he wants flexibility.
I know. I'm pushing him a little bit because he can handle it. Samuel, what is it that you really want to do?
I guess I really just want to make my friends and family happy and spend time doing things that I enjoy.
I know. You're a sweet young man. Jade wants to give you a big, giant hug. Mama Jade is so touched.
Do.
But, Samuel, you want to do real estate? You want to be an entrepreneur? You want to be kind of on the move, working for yourself? Is that the goal?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So until you figure out what it is that this entrepreneurial adventure or 2 or 3 or 4 may be, then I think you ought to be working. Because you don't need an associate's degree to be an entrepreneur. You don't have a very clear direction as of this time, which, by the way, I'm not judging that at all. And so for me, I don't think you should be feeling any kind of negative emotion about taking this semester off. Now, if you figure out what you start to get some more ideas. And by the way, I'm going to give you some tools. I'm going to give you my book, Find the Work You're Wired to Do, and it has the Get Clear assessment in it. It'll take you about 18 to 20 minutes to take. Will you do it?
Yes, sir.
Because it's going to give you a purpose statement. And it's basically going to go, I was created to use the top 3 talents, and it's going to go boom, boom, boom. It's got a detailed report on each of the 3 top talents. And then it's going to say, to do the work that I really enjoy doing. It's going to give you 3 passions, boom, 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 and a detailed report on all 3. To accomplish my mission of, and it's going to give you one clear answer, which is a result that would get Samuel out of the bed every morning. Now, that's just a quick preview. But if you take it and you look at that purpose statement and you begin to lay it out over the world of work, okay, and you begin to allow yourself to answer the question that I put you under the spot. Okay, I put you on the spot. I know it was a little pressure. But if you continue to work through that same question with that purpose statement in mind, I think at some point you're going to come to some conclusions on 2 or 3 ideas that would absolutely allow you to use what you do best, to do what you enjoy, to produce a result that you care about. Isn't that what you really want, Samuel?
Thank you so much, Ken. Yeah.
So here's the deal. I am all for 19-year-olds working and making some money, Mama Jade.
I know that's right.
And taking his time and figuring out, because he's not playing video games all day long.
He's being productive.
He's hustling. This kid's got a heart the size of the Atlantic Ocean. So Samuel, I would say pause.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
then we jump back into school. And here's why, Jade, I want to give it to you to weigh in. Because you need to listen to Jade. If school, a degree, whether it be an associate's, a bachelor's, grad degree at all, Jade, if it is the only way to do what you want to do, I say do it.
Yeah.
If it is the best way to do what you want to do, I say do it. But absent of those 2 very clear descriptors, then I say stay away from it. Because you are wasting time and money. This idea that college is, it's so good for the young people to go find themselves.
No, that's an expensive way to find yourself.
It's summer camp on steroids.
Shoot.
You can go party on your own. Jade, what say you?
I think that you're exactly right, Ken Coleman. I think that that's a message that needs to be shouted from the rooftops.
I mean, look, it's just simple as that. So Samuel, I hope that's what you need. Is that what you needed today? You didn't need anything from us, but I hope we answered your question.
Yes, I really appreciate it.
All right, my man, hang on the line. Kristen's going to get you a copy of the book, Find the Work You're Wired to Do, and it comes with the assessment, the Get Clear assessment. By the way, that little book is about a 45-minute read, Jade.
Yeah.
It's me coaching people through their assessment results. So
We need it.
I do believe passionately in that product, so especially for young people, who, by the way, there is this massive cultural pressure to go right out of high school and get accepted by a really great school so that you make your parents and your principal and your teachers proud. And there's a lot of Samuels in this world who are a lot like Ken Coleman. And we were like, that thing I want to do doesn't need a degree. I'm a college dropout because I was working. I went to school to get a political science degree because I wanted to run the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
No surprise there. And I got a taste of politics. I got to work on a campaign in the middle of my sophomore year. And I took a whole semester off and I tasted battle, folks.
Hey.
And then I went back to school and was like, this is the desk job. And I've been in the foxhole. And I was never the same. And thankfully, my parents did not freak out. They weren't happy about it.
What'd they do?
They just kind of were like, okay, well, we'd like you to finish your degree.
Yeah.
Because another year and a half later, I dropped out to work on a Senate race. Then I went right to the gubernatorial race, and I found myself working for the governor of Virginia at 22.
That's cool.
So it wasn't like I was, finding myself in Europe. Backpacking.
But you could find yourself in Europe.
And I got no problem with that either.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of a gap year.
I wish I had found myself as a dropout. Listen, I stayed in school too long.
Yeah, but you were a D1 athlete. You're far more higher achiever than me.
Yes, but I quit volleyball to pursue music.
Yeah, and
in my studies, but I didn't need to continue in school.
No, you did not.
Yeah,
but
I wish I had taken the Ken Coleman path of action.
But keep in
it would
mind,
have been right for me.
I went into the field that I was going to school to get into the field for. I hope everybody understands that. I mean, I'm not saying that everybody drop out of school.
No, we get you, Ken.
But my goodness, why in the world would I finish the degree?
It's not for everybody, is what you're saying. Like, it's not the pathway for everybody.
People used to ask me all the time, you going to go back and get your degree? I was like,
for what?
I got a fancy office.
I know, right?
I'm wearing suits every day.
You know what?
I'm not going back to college for a political science degree. I am sciencing the political.
What do you think about folks who really view it, though, like it's just, I want to do it to say I did it. Like, it's just...
if it's that important to you, pay it cash.
Yeah.
But I would say to them privately, that's important to you. I'm not going to knock your priorities. I'd go, you don't need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just one of these guys that doesn't do anything that I don't need to do.
Listen, school. I get you.
Why do I need a degree?
My degree helped me meet Sam Warshaw. That's all that matters. That's what I tell myself at night when I'm thinking about the student loans I paid off.
And tell people what you thought of Sam the first time you met him.
I said that right there is a snack.
My all-time favorite thing she says about he's become a good friend. One of these days I'm going to tell him, you're a snack.
Yeah.
And he's going to probably punch me, but it'll be worth it.
Listen, face
It'll be
card
really
never declines.
Fun. It's fantastic.
You heard it here first.
We love you, Sam. This is The Ramsey Show.
You know how when you go against what society thinks is, quote, normal, like avoiding debt, it feels weird at first? Well, I'm here to tell you that is okay. I want you to be weird, if that means you're being intentional, including how you budget. And one way to be intentional about how you spend your healthcare dollars is with Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM isn't health insurance. They're a biblically based alternative. CHM is a health cost-sharing ministry that's helped hundreds of thousands of families take care of healthcare costs without sacrificing their freedom. As a CHM member, you'll share 100% of your eligible healthcare costs with a dedicated Christian community. And in return, your monthly contribution goes towards other members' medical costs. So no matter where you are in your financial journey, CHM can help you reach your money goals and still get the care you need. Plus, programs start as low as $98 a month. So go to chministries.org/budget to find out more. That's chministries.org/budget.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. Thrilled to have you with us, helping you win with your money, win in your profession, and win in your relationships is our goal. 888-825-5225 is the phone number to jump in. I'm Ken Coleman. Jade Warshaw joins me. Why Refi? Refinances defaulted private student loans and builds a custom loan based on your ability to pay. Private student loans are different than federal student loans like Sallie Mae. So, to learn more about this custom refinancing option and a lump sum payoff option you could qualify for after 24 months, go to yrefy.com/Ramsey. That's the letter Y. refy.com/Ramsey. It may not be available in all states.
All right. Today's question comes from Travis in Vermont. He says, I'm 23 and saving for a home down payment, which should only take 12 to 18 months. However, I've heard that you recommend not having a mortgage of more than 25% of your take-home pay. Even if I were to save enough for a 20% down payment, I wouldn't be able to get a mortgage anywhere near that. I earn $70,000 per year, which is above average for coming straight out of college. There are no starter homes in this area for less than $150,000. Do you think young people will ever have a chance at purchasing a house if we stick to your 25% guideline? All right.
Oh, that's a good
great
question. Yeah.
Let's talk about it from a couple of angles. Number one, I love that you want to buy a house. I think that's great. I think the dream of real estate is the American dream, right? To own something that's yours outright. It's great. What you first said was you could save for a down payment in 12 to 18 months, which lets me know whatever you had in your mind, you thought this number will get me in the door. But the door that it's going to get you in is a dangerous door for you. The reason that we say 25% of your take-home pay is because we want you to be able to live. Like, we want you to be able to breathe out here.
That's
because
don't want to be house poor.
Yeah, at some point, you have to think about it like this. At some point of the 100% pie of income that you have, at some point you're going to want to invest 15%. So there's that. At some point you're going to want to give 10%. So there's that. That's already at 25. At some point you have a mortgage. Let's say it's more than 25%. Let's say it's at 40%. Well, suddenly you don't have much to live off of. Right? You've really cut that wedge really, really small for you. And we find people all the time who call in and say, oh my gosh, I mean, it happened the other day, Ken, folks calling at 50% because they'll give you a mortgage up to 50%.
Oh my goodness.
And when that happens, these people can't breathe.
No.
Like they can't pay for a pot to piss in. Like, they don't have anything.
One of my all-time favorite phrases, by the way. You dusted that one off. That's like an old school.
It came from the depths.
It did. That's like an old school phrase.
I think I probably heard my dad say it. But
oh, I promise you.
Anyway, that's the point. It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with being a Ramseyism, right?
That's right.
It's about you. We want you to be able to live. So
it's about margin and emotion attached to that margin.
And so that's kind of what I want you to leave here with. It's not about us. It's about you being able to enjoy your home and have the money to do the things that you need to be able to do. So that's thing one. Now let's answer the question of, do you think single people will ever have a chance at purchasing a house if we stick to your 25% guidelines? The answer is yes, but, and you'll have to change your expectations on possibly the piece of real estate and the timeline that it will take to get you there.
That's right. And the zip code.
All these things.
Come on. And what you grew up in doesn't mean that that's what you're supposed to start in.
Facts.
And I think
come on,
that's
Ken.
the biggest thing.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you grew up in a 4-bedroom, 3-car garage, and you think that that's what you're supposed to start with. And I'm like,
at 23?
Well, I think a lot of people do think
you're
that.
Right.
And it's like, wait a second. I mean, the first house Stacey and I started with, it's like a matchbox compared to what we live in now. You know what I mean?
I do know.
And we thought it was massive and scared to death of it, by the way. It's $198,000.
Wow.
And I thought, and by the way, I did it by the book. The down payment, the way Ramsey teaches it. But I thought I had mortgaged my life away because of the sheer price of the home.
Yes.
$198,000 back then. That was like, I thought I was going to die.
And that's so important to note, Ken. So important. Despite what your monthly payment for the mortgage might be, you still, that first home, you feel the weight of whatever the entire amount is.
Yeah, even though we put a nice down payment on, it was over 20%, but it still felt like, what have I done?
Yeah.
And so there's a responsibility there, which, by the way, makes me think. I want to just add one thing. I thought your answers were great. This is why we created what I think is one of the best resources we've ever created at Ramsey. And by the way, it's all free. It's called Ramsey's Real Estate Home Base. So anybody watching and listening right now, this is free. And it's absolutely chock full of, it's a podcast on there. We've got a book on there. We've got a video series, how-to articles, start to finish guides on buying or selling anything real estate related. If you're kind of going, what do I do?
Yes.
And you trust us, go to RamseySolutions.com/real estate. Let me say that again, RamseySolutions.com/real estate. If you couldn't write it down, can't remember it, go to the show notes for today. It's there. Very important that you understand what all is involved here. So really good question.
And Ken, let me drive this. Let me drive this point home one more way.
Drive it down the lane.
There's always a new listener, someone who doesn't know our backgrounds, right? So my husband and I loved this question because right now the real estate, it's gotten more and more expensive. It started to cool out in some areas, but the truth is it is very expensive. And with other things being expensive, inflation and things like that, it does make it feel harder to be able to accomplish this dream. That is the truth.
Well, the numbers have gone up. You're right about that. It is a higher level.
Yeah. And so I like to remind people, when my husband and I were getting out of debt, of course, we couldn't buy a house during that time because we say you should really pay off your debt before you become a first-time homeowner. And so Sam and I rented Ken for 10 years. And during the course of that 10 years, we paid off $460,000 of debt, and then we saved up and were able to do,
you also had a bunch of people
stuff.
living with you too, I feel like.
You say what?
Didn't you have a bunch of people living with you too?
Not a bunch of folks. We had roommates at one point. We did.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking that.
We were married, and we had another married couple that lived with us for a year.
I thought that was extreme.
10 out of 10 would not recommend, Ken.
But you did it.
We did it. But the point is,
I said a bunch of people. I'm sorry.
It kind of sounded like we were just on the block.
Like
we just had folks
shoe?
coming through. Living in a shoe. No, it just reframing like a time frame. If it takes 10 years, so be it. You'll be a homeowner. I can tell you will.
And here's the key. Actually, I'm really glad you brought that up because I think some people right now are still going, 10 years? Before you throw shade at my friend, I want to bring this back to you. Because that 10 years of rent, I'm sitting here with you today, and I'm going to take a guess that you don't feel like you pissed that money away.
Not at all.
So what did the 10 years of rent, which some people right now are on TikTok, Instagram going, what?
Yeah.
How did that 10 years of renting give you freedom to get to where you are today? Break it down.
Well, I don't regret it at all. Like here in my life, I'm 41 years old. I don't go, oh man, if only I had bought my house when I was 23. Like there's no part of me that thinks back and regret at all.
Why?
Because it was worth it to do things right. We took 7.5 years, paid off all the debt. Then we lollygagged a couple of years because we were tired. Took some more time to save up. That's the truth.
Well, you were paying off $500,000.
That's right.
You deserve a water break.
Took some time to save up. And then when we finally bought our house, I was pregnant. I had just had my first son, and I was 36 years old. And it was great.
And now here you are, homeowner.
Homeowner. I'm on my second house.
People think that that's wasting money, and in your case, it was actually the freedom and margin you needed to get out of debt.
That's right, because it was cheaper.
Far cheaper.
It was far cheaper for us to rent. We had a season of roommates, and it freed up money. And like we said before, the last thing I needed was more stress. Right. Of then feeling like, okay, now I've also got this mortgage that I have to, be accountable for. So, Ken.
Craziest thing that happened that you're willing to share when you had another married couple, roommates. Or most awkward.
I think one time we came home and they had bought a home alarm, an alarm for the house. And so Sam and I came home from a trip. We had been working, and when we opened up the door,
they didn't tell you.
Yeah. And
that has to be really alarming.
Yeah, that alarmed me.
I'll bet. No pun intended. Wow.
Yeah, I was alarmed.
I think that should have been a reality show. I hate that we missed that.
That part I don't miss. I love them. They were great people. I have nothing but love in my heart for them.
Still in touch with them?
Yeah.
Oh.
Somewhat.
From
a distance. But not because they're not great people.
From a distance, little Bette Midler.
From a distance.
There it is. I knew she would do it, folks. That's all I got to do is tee it up and she can sing it.
Check the key.
Lady in the lobby's giving you a heart sign. She wants a little Bette Midler during the break.
God is watching us.
That's how you go out to break right there, folks. I'll listen as she sings along during the commercial break. We'll be back before you know it. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. Alongside Jade Warshaw, I'm Ken Coleman. So glad you're with us today as we help you win with your money, win in your profession, and win with your relationships. 888-825-5225. Jade, I'm a little excited about it, and I don't naturally celebrate these things like I should. Super excited. Been dreaming about a show concept for a long time, and we've been working on it as a team. The team's done a great job. It's called Front Row Seat with Ken Coleman. And people ask, has it replaced the Ken Coleman Show? Yes, because it is a very different format. Imagine you're sitting in on a deep dive conversation with somebody who's a thought leader, someone who has done something extraordinary in their lives. They are a man or a woman of success, and you get to be a part of the audience. And you're sitting around with us asking a question. Well, that is the format, live format. We record it, and then also we have a virtual format where people can zoom in, if you will. So we're bringing the audience to the front row seat. That's the concept. It's on YouTube now, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episode comes out every Tuesday morning. Wow. If you want to get better personally, move up professionally, and lead effectively, those are the conversations.
Wow. How do you source your guests? How do you select your guests? Because you've had some wonderful guests.
Yeah, we have some really fun guests. And the way it goes down is, we're selecting people within those categories. So, for instance, people that can help, experts can help out in the area of personal growth. So that would be an expert maybe on sleep or nutrition or exercise.
Wow, okay.
Right? And so
holistic.
We're mixing it up, right? And then, of course, we have people that are professional gurus that can help you on certain soft skills. Like we just had Charles Duhigg. We just recorded that. It'll come out soon. Pulitzer Prize-winning author of the book Super Communicators.
Wow.
So we're talking about the 3 types of conversation. So how do we use those types of conversation to win in our profession, but also win at home?
That's so helpful.
And then, of course, leadership experts. So it's very intentional between those three buckets of content, if that makes sense. So,
well done, Ken.
Thank you. I'm really excited about it. It's beautiful, by the way, if you want to check it out on YouTube. The team did a great job with the set. Looks really, really fun. So the Front Row Seat is the name of the show, Front Row Seat with Ken Coleman. You can get it on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Let's go to Brianna, who's joining us in Dallas, Texas. Brianna, how can we help today?
Hi, yes, I have a question. I need some advice. Me and my husband are thinking about selling our home because we're just drowning in debt, and we just don't have any other option to try to get out of it but to sell our home. So, yes, that's
what has created that scenario where you don't believe you have any other options? Give us some details.
We are just drowning in debt, and I know y'all always sell the cars, and we looked into it. We owe in one of our cars we owe like $9,000.
Okay,
and we tried to see if we could sell it, but we will be under. It's really not worth selling. It's just, I guess right now we just better off paying it off. And the other one is $12,000. And that one as well is negative. So we're like, okay, well, we might as well just try to hang on to those and try to pay those off. And everything else is loans and credit cards, student loans, IRS.
Go through the other ones. Everything. Go through the other amounts for us so we can get a picture of this. So the $9,000 car, the $12,000 car, what else?
And then loans, like personal loans, we owe like $20,000.
Okay.
Credit cards is around like 35 to like 40,000.
Okay.
Student loans is my husband's is like 73,000.
Okay. How much are yours?
I don't have any.
Good.
And we owe the IRS is like 9,500.
Okay.
And then I have medical bills that's like 3,000.
Okay.
Well, what's your combined income?
Combined income is like 10,500 to like 11,000
per month.
Yes.
Okay, and have you added up, if you don't know, it's okay, but if I were to ask you on the spot, like, how much does this cost you in payments every month? Do you know the number to that?
Like the debt alone is like 4,000, probably a little bit more.
Okay, so you're paying 4,000 in payments, and then tell me, what's your mortgage? Tell me about the mortgage. Tell me what you owe on it.
The mortgage is like 3,100.
Okay, and that's what you're paying per month, but tell me how much you bought the house for.
The house, we bought it for $386.
What's it worth?
Right now it's worth like $385, $387.
Well, sweetheart, if you sell the house, that's not going to give you guys much money at all.
I know. We owe $340 on it right now.
Right, but after you pay your realtor, there's very little of this that is going to actually solve this problem.
Right. That's when we were like, okay, should we just try to fight for it, or should we try to sell it and try to at least get out of it?
Jade's got something to tell you.
The only thing we were thinking is because my husband drives like an hour and a half commute to his job.
Oh, okay. So interesting.
He wanted to move closer to his job because it's a long drive.
Could you rent for less money in that location? Sorry, Jade.
That's okay.
The rent's probably going to be like $2,000.
Yeah, not much different.
Not much difference. Yeah.
Well, no, you said you're paying $3,100 per month.
Oh, yeah, that is actually a huge difference.
Right, $3,100 plus the HOA.
Oh, that's not including HOA. What's your HOA?
No. $250 every quarter.
Okay, every quarter. Okay.
I would consider moving, Jade, in this situation, because that's a long way to commute, number one.
Well, there's a couple of things. You got that big commute. I was going to ask you, is it an hour and a half each way, or is that combined? Because if it's 40 minutes, that's not as big of a deal. But
no, it's each way.
Ooh, girl. Yeah,
I would definitely move.
So he has to drive into the office 3 days out of the week. So 2 days he'll work from home, but 3 days out of the week he has to drive to the office.
It's still a lot. 3 hours driving in a day is a lot to get to work. So that's one green light. It's not the biggest reason because, like you said, it's not like he's going in every day, but it is a reason. The biggest reason for me to consider getting out of this house is because it's more than 25% of your take-home pay, and at this point, you need every dollar that you can get your hands on. Now, there is a thought here, and you guys need to sit and talk about this because there's a thought where I go, okay, if you guys really start side hustling, if you start picking up your income, there could be a world when this debt is over that this is not that this is 25% of your take home. You see what I'm saying? That you raise your income and it becomes something that you can keep around. Today, though, it's really a problem. So I would say your homework to sit down with your spouse tonight would be to say, what are all the things we can do to make money? What are your opportunities that are directly related to your job, and what are mine that are? Do you both work?
Yes, we both work. So he has his main job, and then he has a part-time job on the weekends to make like some extra income. I try to work overtime. I work at a daycare, so I try to work extra, like overtime whenever I can.
How consistent can that happen? Is that like a daily thing, or is it like a couple times a month?
It varies. It varies. It depends on the teachers. Like, I just found out I have COVID, so I have to be out all week.
Got you. So what I'd be looking for, when I'm looking for a side hustle, I'm looking for something I can count on. That's the whole point. So I'd be looking, if I'm going to spend the extra hours working, I want something that's like clockwork. I can get it. I can go bust my butt and do it, and it's there. So you both need that. And then if something, part-time pops up at the job and you have the leverage, the place in your schedule to do it, you do that too. But right now here's my main job and a go-to side hustle that's always there. I can work it every day, every weekend. Got it. So that's you guys' job to come up with that tonight. And then after that, have you made a budget?
I tried the dollar thing. I just downloaded it.
Okay, good.
I did like the free trial thing, but I'm going to have to cancel it because it's like $18 a month.
Okay.
Y'all need to stop borrowing money.
Yeah, you got to stop borrowing. Ken is right.
Yes.
Ken is right.
Like, you got in this mess because y'all are trying to do too much and you don't have enough money for it. So if you can't afford every dollar to get a budget, you better get it out on paper.
You can afford it. You spend more on pizza delivery, okay? You can afford it.
This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, what are you still doing here? You know the rest of the show's happening on the Ramsey Network app, right? So you got to jump over there to continue watching. You can download it for free. Just go to your app store, type in Ramsey Network. It's completely free, and I'll drop a link in the show notes to make it easy for you. So if you're watching on the app, you're in luck. But if you're watching anywhere else, this show is over for you. So jump onto the app and let the fun continue. All right. Go on now. Don't make it weird. Okay, I got nowhere to go, so you need to go. Okay, bye-bye now. All right, it's getting weird over there, guys. What do we do?